What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this Thursday morning, ladies and gentlemen? We're here to talk about the Jonathan Gannon's press conference, big takeaways that we ended up having here as Arizona Cardinal fans, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat right now. If you guys haven't already smacked the like button, definitely go and smack it up. Run it up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and keep knocking that up until we get 100 likes on this video. Now, we are going to be diving right into this here pretty soon as well. Let me go and give a real quick shout out to my sponsor of this video, Underdog Fantasy. Go ahead and use promo code AZSF and you can get your deposit matched up to $100 if you want to try to win some money. So go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy today, and try to add a little bit more spice to your sports watching experience. Now, we are going to talk about Jonathan Gannon today, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about. I have so many notes, so many things that he ended up saying that I want to kind of discuss and talk about, pertaining to how you guys feel and how I feel about, Jonathan Gannon being the next Arizona Cardinal head coach. Now, let me get to this first super chat, first contribution of the day. We got AZ Fan 1998 says, I'm going to be honest here. I think we got someone as our new head coach. He's very passionate with every word. He didn't hesitate when saying, don't get it twisted. We're going to win games. That gave me goosebumps. Oh, absolutely. And we're going to dive right into this here pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I do know that there is some fans out there that don't like this hire. For the people that do like this hire and they don't like negative, just ignore them, right? At this very moment, all we can do as Cardinal fans is, just kind of wait and see, right? So for the people that don't like all the negative comments that we're seeing in the chat, just honestly ignore the people. People can have their opinion, but honestly, I'm excited. I think the new era of the Arizona Cardinals starts today. Now that we have our head coach in place, now that we're going to start hearing and seeing some changes happening, right, with an offensive coordinator, with the defensive coordinator, that type of stuff. Now, let's talk about VJ real quick before we talk about the big takeaways. Now, if you guys do not know, there's rumors and speculations going out there that Vance Joseph has already, he is not that he's out right now, but the Denver Broncos has reached out to the Arizona Cardinals to possibly interview Vance Joseph for the defensive coordinator job. And not only that, but there was another report came out this morning saying that the Eagles reached out to the Cardinals, trying to interview Vance Joseph for their defensive coordinator job. So please keep in mind, at this very moment, it looks like Vance Joseph might be kind of seeing his way out of Arizona. I think Jonathan Gannon wants to get a brand new defensive coordinator. I think he obviously is going to get an offensive coordinator to go ahead and build up the staff together. So please don't be surprised if we see VJ find his way out within the next 48 hours. I think that's when we're going to know here pretty soon, either by tomorrow, if not by next week. We're going to have some information if Vance Joseph is going to stay, if he's not going to stay, and who the next defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals is. Now, let's dive right into this big takeaways, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, this press conference started up just like usual press conferences, right? We hear from the owner, we hear from the GM, Monty Osenfor, as well as, Michael Bidwell. Now, one of the big takeaways that I got from them specifically was that I think Michael Bidwell really wanted to kind of to come to the aid where a lot of noise is out there saying that people like, Flores and other names that were offered the job, right? The rumors that they were offered the job and that they declined the Arizona Cardinals. So I do feel like Michael Bidwell and Monty Osenfor really try to get in front of that. Now, there was some questions asked during the presser still, and we're going to dive into that here pretty soon. So what Monty Osenfor said was they went ahead and they interviewed about 10 candidates for this specific position, and there was a lot more interest in this position than the outside noise led to believe. And I kind of believe that. I feel like the Arizona Cardinals, although some stuff was leaked out there and we're kind of in the know, I do feel like there was some things out there that we weren't privy to, right? Like something that Monty Osenfor and Michael Bidwell knows that we don't know, and that can very well be true, right? That there could have been a lot more candidates out there that really wanted this job. Like if you really truly think about it, 1 out of 32 jobs in the world it is up for grabs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to sell you guys that narrative, but that's what they said. And we'll see, kind of go from there. Now, a question that was asked over to Jonathan Gannon, or I guess we can call him JG now, right? Because that's what they seem to be kind of calling him, is that they ended up asking him, like, what are you bringing here, right? Like, what is the type of team you're looking for. And he basically says adaptable, explosive, and smart. And also the idea of playing violent. Now, obviously, violent to an extent in terms of football, I'm all in for, right? I'm all in for our culture to change into a not pretty boy football, right? That's what the stigma that the Arizona Cardinals has had when Cliff Kingsbury was here, is that we were pretty boy football. But now that we have somebody like JG, right, Jonathan Gannon coming into here and saying that he wants to be explosive, smart, and play violent, that's honestly a culture shock on its own for Cardinal fans, right? And it should be for the players that are currently in the organization right now. I think it's definitely very telling that this is something that needs to happen for Arizona Cardinal fans, because, man, we did see some things where, like, just dumb, boneheaded mistakes from these players that we've seen time in and time again. And accountability was a big issue, right? Nobody was being held accountable on this team. Obviously, that was also asked to Jonathan Gannon as well. And the way he answered it, I was a little confused. I'm not going to lie to you. I was expecting like a straight answer, but he really didn't give a straight answer, kind of like bounced around. But he ended up saying that accountability doesn't always have to be like negative, but it could be positive. But basically getting all the players to buy in and making sure that they're holding themselves accountable, that type of stuff. But I do think that we're going to have a better accountability with this new regime, right? So I'm excited about that. Now, one other thing that stuck out to me is that Jonathan Gannon said that we are going to maximize the talent that we have in this locker room. Maximize the talent in this locker room. Now, I don't know about you guys in the chat, but I do think that when we saw Kyler Murray play compared to when we saw Colt McCoy play, it was different, right? It was different. But every single time we saw Kyler Murray play different teams, there was not really a different in game plan. It was almost like, Kyler Murray, you're a great talent. Go out there and make something magical happen. Where Colt McCoy was out there, and then it was a lot of short, throws, stuff like that. So I like the idea of building a game plan around your best players. I think that that's absolutely amazing. I think it's great. I think it's something that I wished Cliff Kingsbury was able to do, right? But now that Jonathan Gannon came out, said that he's going to maximize the talent that he has, making sure that the best 11 people are on the field, that's amazing. That's amazing. And, to me as a Cardinal fan, that right there strikes a chord to me. That right there strikes a chord to me. And here's the biggest reason why I feel like it strikes a chord to me. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way, but during this football season that we ended up seeing, please answer me in the chat if you agree with me. Did you guys truly believe that we had the best 11 people on the field at all times? The best 11 people on the field at all times. Did you guys truly, truly believe that that was the case for the Arizona Cardinals? I don't. I didn't. I didn't at all. And I'm not here to try to, badmouth any of the players, but I do honestly think that with some of the players that we actually had, I think that the Arizona Cardinals should have played Greg Dortch a lot more than we did, right? We ended up starting to get healthy, and we ended up using our second round pick, Rondale Moore. But Greg Dortch was always there to answer the call. Always there to answer the call for the Arizona Cardinals. And I mean, always there. And I have been on Twitter multiple different times saying that Greg Dortch is, more successful. Right? I'm not going to say, well, I guess I said greater than Rondale Moore. Now, maybe I might have been a little bit too harsh on Rondale, but to be honest with you, the best 11 people on the field was not always on the field at all times. I feel like we favored high round picks. I feel like we favored veterans for the regime that we ended up seeing. And that's something that I would love to see different, right? I want to see something different, especially these first round picks that we're going to be getting in this next year's draft. They have to be out there. I don't care if they make mistakes. They have to be out there. Let them get their bumps and bruises and not wait till year 2, right? Because if year 2, and that's when they're getting their experience, it's going to take longer for them to be the product that we want them to be, right? So allow them to get their bumps and bruises in year 1. It's what it has to be. So I love the idea of maximizing talent that we have and making sure that we have the best 11 people on the field. I think that's absolutely important. I think that's something that the Arizona Cardinals absolutely need to do. And honestly, I think at this very moment, the Arizona Cardinals, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm definitely very excited, to be honest with you. Appreciate the contributions, by the way, everybody. Let's keep going on with these takeaways. One other thing that stuck around with me as well was that the idea of him not having a specific scheme. Now, I know there's a lot of people kind of reaching out to me and saying, well, because I'm kind of throwing a lot of defensive coordinators out there, right? There was a report that came out that said Mike Zimmer might be linked to the Arizona Cardinals with Jonathan Gannon. That would be cool, right? But the idea of them playing two different types of scheme, right? 3-4-4-3, that type of stuff. The idea of Jonathan Gannon coming out and specifically saying, I don't have a scheme. I don't have a scheme. And yes, that can be very scary, right? Yes, that can be very scary for an outsider. But being the fact that the Arizona Cardinals have a coach that's willing to adapt every single week, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Honestly, I think the Arizona Cardinals right now are in a situation where we are going through a we're going through a rebuild. Or I guess that's what JG, right? Jonathan Gannon, whatever you want to call him, he's not saying that we're in a rebuild, right? He refused to use that term. Some Cardinal fans feel like we are, but you never know, right? We've seen first-year head coaches come in here and change the trajectory of a season for Arizona Cardinals or just other organizations out there, right? We've seen it before. So I like that. I like the idea of not specifically focusing on a scheme, but the idea of adapting every single week and making it like a chess piece, making it like a chess match. That is absolutely amazing. Making sure that if we are playing a team that does this very well, we're going to do this to counter out whatever they're doing, right? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love to hear it. Now, can that be a little sticky, right? Can that get a little bit of a sticky waters? Yes, it can, right? But the idea of somebody coming in here with a brand new mindset, I love it. I absolutely love it. Let me get to this contribution here real quick from Kenny Wilson. What's up, brother? He says, I want an offensive lineman in the first round for Kyler Murray instead of a defensive lineman. Trade back, get picks, and help Kyler's offensive line. This is a good call out. It really is. Now, because we got a defensive minded head coach, it might be a little, we might not get that. But honestly, the draft is open to a lot of different possibilities for the Arizona Cardinals to do you know, what we think is going to happen, right? So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think with the Arizona Cardinals, we got so many holes. I think anything can work out for the Arizona Cardinals. Truly. Truly. I think anything can work out for the Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, being the idea of, being adaptable, right? Week in and week out, making sure we're maximizing the talents that we have on the roster. Absolutely huge. Now, let's move on to the next point that I have. One thing that really stuck out to me is that when Jonathan Gannon came out and said, don't get it twisted, we're going to win games next year. Don't get it twisted. We're going to win games next year. Now, yes, there is fans, right, including myself, that think that this might be a rebuilding year. Now, obviously, we say rebuilding year to kind of not set ourselves up for failure, right? To not set ourselves up for heartbreak. That's why we say these things, right? As Cardinal fans, that's why we do. But if our coach comes out and says that every single game they're going to come out here with a brand new game plan in the idea and hope and prayer that we are going to win and we're going to win games, that's huge. That's huge. Now, I'm not going to sit here saying that the Arizona Cardinals are going to the playoffs, right? I'm not going to sit here and say the Arizona Cardinals, but if the idea of the Arizona Cardinals might be close to a playoff run, that's huge, right? 6, 7 games, something like that. That would be crazy huge for the Arizona Cardinals' first-year head coach, right? And Jonathan Gannon. So he came out and said, do not get it twisted. We're going to win games next year. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm excited about that. Don't get it twisted. We're going to win games next year. Let's move on over here to the next point here. I think they also talked about, obviously, football team, like the football player that we want, the type of people that we want. He kind of said the same thing that Monty Osenfort said, right? The people that are team first, that want to be great, elite football character. That's what they're really looking for this next 2023 Arizona Cardinals. Pretty much the same thing as Monty Osenfort. So now we're not going to really speak too much about that. Now, one big thing that stuck out to me is that somebody ended up asking, who's going to call the defense? This is a big one. Who's going to call the defense? And right at this very moment, he didn't have an answer. He didn't have an answer. Now, is this going to be something where we're going to get a defensive coordinator where they're going to focus specifically on the defense and he's going to overlook that defensive coordinator? Is that going to be something? But also doing that, but also overlooking the offensive side of the ball, right? Just being the head coach and something that this exactly they should do. Hey, honestly, I think that would be a huge win for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, granted, he needs to get a defensive coordinator that specifically is going to need to do the right thing at all times, right? Defensive coordinator, he's a defensive-minded head coach, so he's got to make sure that he brings in a really, really good talent in the defensive coordinator position. But being that he doesn't know at this very moment if he's going to call the defense, honestly, I prefer him not to call the defense. Personally, I really, truthfully, I'd rather him not call the defense. And you know why? Because we had a Cliff Kingsbury-led offense that Cliff Kingsbury's sole purpose on the sidelines was to call that offense, and it was just way too much for a first-year head coach. Way too much, right? Too many things going on. So the idea of Jonathan Gannon relinquishing the idea of not calling defensive plays, honestly, I think that's big. And I think that that is a smart thing to do, is relinquish that, right? Because he's used to doing it in Philly. Relinquish it. He might not do it. And I think that's huge. I think that's absolutely huge. So he can focus on every aspect of the game, right? He can focus on time management. He can focus on, if he needs to speak to Kyler, if he needs to speak to a wide receiver, maybe people are getting up in an uproar. Maybe he needs to do something on the sidelines, right? Making sure that he's involved in every aspect of the game and having his eyes on the game. I like that. Now, if he comes out here and does call the plays, okay, right? I mean, it's his decision. There's nothing we can do here as fans, but the idea of him not calling the plays, I like that. I truly do. So I'm assuming they're going to come up with a game plan with him and the new defensive coordinator, because I do believe that VJ is going to find his way out. I don't think Vance Joseph is going to be a member of the Arizona Cardinals, being that we've seen already reports coming out saying the Eagles requested an interview as well as the Broncos requesting an interview. So I don't think it is likely that Vance Joseph stays as a member of the Arizona Cardinals organization. Another big thing is that somebody ended up asking offensive coordinators, what is the offensive coordinators going to look like, right? Are we already looking? He said we will know. He's looking into interviewing people, and we're going to know a little bit more within the next 48 hours. Awesome. 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 I love to see it. So within the next 48 hours, we're going to be looking into interviewing people, and we are going to be looking out there for an offensive coordinator. Obviously, that's probably one of the top priorities, to go ahead and make sure he gets his coaching staff ready to go, right? And it's not just OC and DC. It's going to be quarterback coach and everybody else that kind of follows along with him as well. So there's a lot of assistants that he needs to kind of bring in. But he's already starting to kind of get that process going, right? Starting to kind of get the gears turning for his way there. So looking to interview people, and within the next 48 hours, we're going to hear a little bit more. Now, obviously, questions were asked about Kyler Murray, and I know that's going to get a lot of people upset because there's a lot of people don't like Kyler Murray, and they want to use everything they can to kind of, poke fun or, use it as fuel as to why he's not the quarterback. But Jonathan Gannon came out and said that Kyler Murray is the franchise quarterback, right? He mentioned the fact that he's the franchise quarterback and that he wants to maximize Kyler Murray's skill set. What? That's crazy. He wants to maximize Kyler Murray's skill set. Awesome. Great. That's what we want to see. Now, we did see a video of Kyler Murray already rehabbing, right? We saw Kyler Murray already rehabbing. He's, doing workouts. He's moving better. It does obviously look like he's still kind of in a like walks in a limp a little bit, but he's getting a lot better than when we first originally seen him, when we first got that surgery done, or when he first got that surgery done. So he's progressing in the right direction. So we'll see what happens there. But as of right now, the timeline looks to be October of 2023 right now. So we'll see. So maximizing Kyler Murray's skill set, huge. They also talked about who mentored him, right? Who mentored, Jonathan Gannon. He went ahead and gave big credit to Nick Sirianni, right? Mentored him to be a coach, made sure that he was held accountable, made sure that he was basically able to, he coached him tough, right? But he made sure that he knew exactly what he needed to do. So there's that. There's just kind of a little piece to talk about there. Rebuilding was another question that was asked. Are we in a rebuild mode? He ended up coming out and says that he likes the core pieces that we have currently right now, but he doesn't want to put a ceiling on the players and the expectations on this season right now. What he does know is that they are going to try their best to win games, right? And every single game that comes around our way. So although fans, including you, including myself, think that this might be a rebuilding mode, he probably sees it in a different way. He wants to win games this coming year. So we'll see. There was a question asked about Kyler and what the plan is. I don't think he really kind of said it, what the plan was. Obviously, I don't expect him to give us what his plan is because, at the end of the day, he doesn't need to, right? It probably is going to stay within the organization. So there's that. Let's see here. There was also the talk about the noise. Michael Bidwell kind of came into the aid for this. I'm not sure if you guys caught this, but the question was asked about why it took the Arizona Cardinals this long, right? And how do we know Jonathan Gannon's the right guy? Michael Bidwell kind of came into the aid and said things like, I don't want to say he kind of, he tried to play, cleanup crew, but kind of, right? He said a lot of things that's, he knows what the noise are out there saying, right? Like the big names out there that we ended up, offering the job to, right? Like your Brian Flores, and other big candidates, Quinn, supposedly, right? The rumors are that they declined the Arizona Cardinals. Michael Bidwell came out and said otherwise. So it's one of those situations where you choose, right? You choose what you want to believe. If you believe the rumors, then cool, believe the rumors. If you believe Michael Bidwell, then you believe Michael Bidwell. But that's kind of what he kind of came in and tried to clean up the mess of the noise situation that we've been hearing a lot this last offseason, right? Because let's be honest, the Arizona Cardinals are the last to hire the coach, right? The last to hire the coach. And it didn't look very good, especially with Kyler Murray yelling at Cliff Kingsbury. A lot of narratives, a lot of noise kind of came out pertaining to what was going on there. So there's that. He kind of came up, and there's that. There was a mention about player accountability. That's where I was a little confused with. He didn't really kind of give us a specific answer. He did say that accountability doesn't have to be positive or negative, but yeah, it was very minimal. Like it was very confusing the way he was answered. So I'm not going to focus on that. He did also mention Kyler Murray when he did play him this last year, that he was a problem to defend. And that's exactly something that we want to see as Cardinal fans, right? We want to see Kyler Murray being used to the best of his ability. We want to see Kyler Murray being used to his exact skill set. And that's something that I'm excited to see, right? How Jonathan Gannon is going to be able to utilize him, but not just Jonathan Gannon, but the offensive coordinator that we decide to bring in. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it's going to shake out. Now, a few things, right, that we heard Jonathan Gannon say a lot in this press conference: let it rip, buckle up, and be where your feet are. Those seems to be the big kind of things that he likes to say over and over again. I think let it rip is going to be maybe like a slogan that he's going to say all the time. Maybe buckle up, something like that. And then be where your feet are. So if that somehow entices you, but those are the big key takeaways for me. I'm not sure if you guys have anything different, but to be honest with you, I'm excited. I'm excited about this new era of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I do understand that we are in a situation right now where we got Arizona Cardinal fans that are very, what's the word? Got a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans right now that are very, they don't want to buy into the tea, right? They don't want to buy into the Kool-Aid unless results are proven first. And I'm right there with you, right? I'm definitely right there with you. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you should trust Michael Bidwell. No, I mean, it's up to you. You know what I mean? It's definitely up to you, right? We know what the Bidwell family has done, right? We know it. As Cardinal fans, we know what the Bidwell family has done. So all I do is provide the information to you guys. And if you guys choose to believe the way you want to believe, then that's fine. Right. But that's the big key takeaways that I gotten coming out of this press conference. Now, another thing is that I did see somebody say that Jonathan Gannon looks a lot like Murr from was it Impractical Jokers? He kind of does, right? A buffed out version of him. He definitely kind of does. I'm not gonna lie to you, but honestly, I'm excited. Like I'm excited about this new venture, this new era. I'm just hoping that we can get a coach that's gonna be longer, like 6 years or longer, right? That's what I'm excited about more than anything. I want a coach that's going to be able to stay here for as long as he can stay here. And of course, if that is the case, then he's doing something right. Now, obviously, if he's not working out in year 2, you're gonna know darn well that I'll be at the stadium. You know what I mean? And kind of voicing my dismay. Now, everything he said was good, right? Everything he said was good, right? It seemed like he said a lot of the right things. Now, we also heard a lot of people say a lot of the right things, right? When Cliff Kingsbury was announced, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people excited, right? When Steve Wilkes was announced, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were excited, right? When Bruce Arians was announced, a lot of people were excited. But that's kind of one of the things, right? That's what it takes to be a not just an NFL fan, but a Cardinal fan, right? Just to kind of put your faith into these people who own this organization to make sure that they are doing the right thing for the best interest of the fan base. We can preach, we can yell, we can, voice our concerns as much as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, Michael Bidwell made the change that we all wanted to happen. He made the change, right? He made the change. Now, whether the people in the chat that don't like this signing wanted to keep Cliff, okay, well, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But I think at this very moment, I think what Michael Bidwell did a very ballsy move. Very ballsy move. He went in there and absolutely took the bull by the horns and made the right appropriate calls. And Jonathan Gannon has said a lot of the right stuff. A lot of the right stuff. Maximizing talent was the biggest thing in my mind. I don't think we put the best 11 on the field. I truly don't. And I know I asked you guys this earlier. Do you guys truly think that the Arizona Cardinals put the best 11 people on the field? I don't think so. I don't think so. This 2022 season, I don't think we did that. Truly. The Arizona Cardinals right now are, we're going through something, right? Whether you don't want to call it a rebuild or a retool, we're going through something, right? We made the changes. We made the moves. We have an opportunity this coming draft and free agency to really change the trajectory of this rebuild. We've seen teams in the NFL, maybe not the Cardinals, but we've seen teams in the NFL go from last to first. We've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen first-year head coaches come in and change the culture of an organization. I believe last time I checked, 10 new head coaches came in last year. 5 of those 10 coaches brought their teams into a playoff run. Now, they probably didn't go deep into a playoff run, right? Yeah, you're probably right there. But 5 of those 10 new head coaches brought their teams into a playoff run. So it can happen. It can happen, right? Just like that kid from Angels in the outfield. It can happen. We just, at this very moment, need to make sure that the Arizona Cardinals bring in the right players. Right now, what's in place is our GM. We got our head coach in place. And now we got to make sure we bring the right people in here that want to be great. That's what we need, right? That's what we need. We need to make sure that we hit these draft picks. And I'm not saying every single 8 picks that we have, we're going to hit, right? I'm not saying that. I understand how impossible that is to do. But if we could somehow land 50% to let's say 25 to 50% of those draft picks, I think that's a huge win for the Arizona Cardinals. If we can get 30%, 35%, 40% of the draft picks to land, that's a huge win for the Arizona Cardinals. And we got an opportunity here to really land some generational talents being where we are at. Now, we're at the 3rd overall spot for a reason, right? We're a terrible team in the 2022 season. We were bad. Everything that could go wrong went wrong for the Arizona Cardinals in the 2022 season. We're bad. And I think we're all fully aware of that, right, as Cardinal fans. But if we can bring in the right people in here, right? The right young mindset people that want to be great, I truly can see the Arizona Cardinals maybe making a playoff push. Maybe not making the playoffs, but maybe a playoff push. And I think that's something that we would want to see, right? I'm tired of seeing the 3 wins. I'm tired of seeing the 4 wins, the 5 wins, and calling it rebuild. I'm tired of it, right? I want to see greatness because it's not the way that you start, the way that you finish. So even if we start off 5-0 when Kyler's gone, but when Kyler comes back, we go on a 12-game winning streak. That's huge. That's huge. It's not the way you start, it's the way you finish. We know that now in the 2021 season. We know that, right? We were 7-0, 10-2, 10-3. It didn't matter at the end of the day when we got whipped by the Rams in the wild card. It didn't matter. I like this signing. I like this move by the Arizona Cardinals because it's different. That's why. I like this move by the Arizona Cardinals because it's different. And I think we should allow it to kind of get through, right? And I get it. There's still going to be some fans out there that are pretty, I'm not going to do it. No, Mike, I refuse. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. But I don't want to live in a world where I'm constantly thinking negative, especially when our manager or our owner made the right moves that he did, right? He went out there and made the moves. He made it. So I'm not going to come out here and think negative when we don't know exactly how it's actually going to work out, right? Monty Osenfort, as well as, Jonathan Gannon and what's going to happen there. So there's that. Okay, so let's take a look on the chat here. Somebody in the chat says if you think negative, it'll come to reality. Possibly. Possibly. But that's the thing, though, right? You're gonna think what you're guys gonna think, right? And that's what it is, right? Not trying to be here to change your mind. That's just not what I want to feel, right? That's not the way that I want to kind of go through. But got somebody in the chat says I love Gannon. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. Somebody in the chat says I'm not a fan of this head coach hire. That's okay. That's okay. That's completely fine. That's completely fine. I think that he's got to prove a lot, right? He's got to prove a lot. He said a lot of the right things in this press conference. But at the end of the day, he's got to prove. And that's fine. I think DeAndre Hopkins is a huge question mark, right? What's going to happen with DeAndre Hopkins? That's a huge question mark. Because let's be honest, if we bring back DeAndre Hopkins and Zach Ertz comes back and Marquise Hollywood-Brown comes back for one more year, right? Because he's still under contract. I know he might want an extension, but he's still under contract. Let's say Kyler Murray convinces him and says, hey, let's try to run it again, right? Let's do it. We might see a very explosive offense, what we were supposed to see in 2021. We just got to make sure we bring in the right offensive coordinator in. And that's number one. Oh, yeah. Keeping Hopkins should be number one priority of the Arizona Cardinals. Should be. But that's the thing. It's not up to the Cardinals. It isn't. It might be up to D-Hop. And there's rumors out there and speculations that he wants to go to a contending team. He's getting older. He might see his time getting very, very dwindled, smaller and smaller and smaller, right? The older he gets. He's still elite, at least in my mind. I don't want him to go. But the rumors are getting loud. I'm not going to lie to you. Rumors are getting loud. But we'll see. It isn't our decision. You know what I mean? It isn't our decision. It's really going to be up to Hop. And the reason why it's not our decision is because he has a very specific no trade clause in his contract. A no trade clause in his contract that we have no power over it. So we'll see. Within the next 48 hours, I believe the Arizona Cardinals are going to do their due diligence and try to bring people in to interview for our offensive coordinator position. That's going to be huge, right? Who's going to be our next offensive coordinator? Now, I did already provide some names. If you guys already didn't see the video, I posted a video yesterday as well as a defensive coordinator news that kind of came out as well surrounding Mike Zimmer and what reports came out. I posted some videos yesterday, so if you didn't see those, definitely go and check those out. But yeah, we'll see. We had a contribution coming in here. We got the sports critic. What's up, brother? Appreciate the contribution. He says, I'm a Cardinals fan too, and I am not a fan of Gannon. I'm not a fan of the Gannon hire, but I hope he proves me wrong. Hopefully he can convince Hopkins to stay for a little bit. I agree. So to me, I'm in the middle, right? I'm excited because there is a new era. That's what I'm excited about. Like, as a Cardinal fan, that's what I'm excited because there's a new era coming. To me, I wanted Lou Anarumo to be our head coach. That's who I wanted. I wanted Lou Anarumo, but I'm not going to allow my emotions, and I'm not saying you are, right? I'm not saying you, I'm just saying myself. I'm not going to allow my emotions to get the best of me and wish the downfall of Gannon, because when Gannon wins, when Gannon wins, then we win, right? When Gannon wins, we win. So there's that. You don't have to be all in, and that's completely fine. Yeah, you definitely don't have to be all in. I think he does have a lot to prove for sure. Year one is going to be very telling. Very, very telling. Let's take a look here in the chat. Okay, AZ fan says, DeAndre Hopkins trade clause got voided because of, oh, snap. Okay. Ooh, buddy. Did this just come out? I mean, this might be a very real thing. I just didn't know that. Okay. All right. Okay, good to know. I wasn't aware that his... Okay, appreciate you. So now that means, oh my goodness, now that just means even worse for DeAndre Hopkins. We could probably send him wherever the heck he wants to go, right? Oof. Or he doesn't want to go. Well, I hope he doesn't want to go anywhere, right? Because one thing we don't want is a disgruntled DeAndre Hopkins. So I appreciate the contribution, AZFan1998. I didn't know it was voided. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate you. Dang. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we're here now, right? We're here. So Hop, we all want Hop to stay. We all want DeAndre Hopkins to stay. Truly, we all do. It's just really going to depend on how it all happens. But I do think if DeAndre Hopkins does come, we still have a really good wide receiving core, right? With Hop and Marquise. The tight end, McBride looking kind of better in the end of the year. As well as Ertz coming back. I think there were some pictures on Twitter. I think Kyler Murray was in the front row during this press conference. Huge. So we'll see. Appreciate you, the Sports Critic. Thank you so very much, man. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for subscribing, man. I absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, if this is your guys' first time, definitely go ahead and subscribe it up. Arizona Cardinals content for the majority of what we talk about here today. But basically, we're all surrounding the big key takeaways from this man right here, Mr. Jonathan Gannon, new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. That's what we're mainly talking about on this channel today, or at least on this video here today, because we're all Arizona Cardinal fans, right? We all want the Arizona Cardinals to succeed. So I think that's the biggest takeaway here, is that I'm excited to see what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. I'm more excited about the new era more than anything, right? I think Gannon has a lot to prove. And I think at this very moment, we just have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. For the person in the chat saying Bieniemy, I heard that Bieniemy was interviewing with the Commanders this morning, or at least today. And it seems like the Commanders really do like Bieniemy. And it might seem like one of those situations that we might see Eric Bieniemy move off the Kansas City Chiefs, just like we said on this channel. For all the people saying, well, why would he leave for a poverty franchise, Mike? Why would he leave? Because he wants to prove his worth. He wants to become a head coach. That's the reason why he wants to leave KC, right? That's why. And he's interviewing with the Commanders. I just hope he doesn't sign. with the Commanders and he gives us an opportunity to talk with them. I just hope that. What's up, Julian B? He says Hop's trade clause is no longer after his suspension. It was voided. Yes, thank you so very much. Another super chat coming in. Thank you so very much for letting me know. If you guys don't mind, where did you guys see that? Because obviously everybody in the chat got the memo except for me. I saw somebody say it said something about 30 minutes ago. I didn't see it, and I apologize about that. But yeah, for everybody in the chat, It seems like DeAndre Hopkins' contract no trade clause has been voided as after the PED situation. So there's that. But if you guys can let me know where exactly you saw that, I would definitely love to kind of see and kind of look into it myself. But I definitely appreciate you guys for coming through and keeping me in the loop. Let's see here. What's up, RV? It says cards need contract adjustments to help us. So you mean like just adjustments for like everybody, right? Well, right now, I think the last time we looked, the Arizona Cardinals don't have very much cap space. We don't have very much cap space. Now, I like to go to a lot of third-party websites that like to kind of, try to give us the best estimate on what our cap space looks like. The number that I'm seeing is like 13 to 15 million dollars, but please keep in mind that anything can be done to open up cap space. Anything can be done to open up cap space. So definitely keep that in mind. I think the Arizona Cardinals can, right? Especially with the new, what's the word? The new regime. Sorry, I don't know why that was such a hard word. With the new regime that we ended up having, I think it is huge to kind of mention the fact that um, the Arizona Cardinals can make cap space if they choose to do so. Okay, so I do have the screenshot here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be I guess you can call it breaking news, but this is going to be what everybody was talking to us on the chat here. And it's coming from Dove Kleiman. It says, update, the no trade clause on the Cardinals all-pro wide receiver contract has been voided due to a 6-game suspension last year, per Corey Joel of CBS Sports. Several teams inquired about Hopkins' availability before his last season trade deadline. This makes a trade easier. Oof. Wow. Wow. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Sheesh. Absolute sheesh. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, I was curious too. I was curious too. Oh, we got my guy Philly the podcast. What's up, brother? Appreciate you for being here, man. By the way, he says Gannon will be an interesting coach. Well, I'm curious, man. I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans, and I know you're a content creator for the Philadelphia Eagles. What are your real thoughts? I heard some people coming out here and saying things like he's a coward because he didn't speak after the Super Bowl. I said hear things saying that he's the main reason why the Arizona Cardinals didn't get their. I'm sorry, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't get their second Super Bowl. What are your thoughts? I'm super curious because as content creators, it's different, right? Philadelphia Eagle fans, yeah, we know how they are, right? But I'm very curious. I'm just excited, to be honest with you. I'm excited for the new era. That's what I'm excited about, honestly. Got somebody in the chat says great hire. I think so too. I think it's something that we should definitely be happy about, right? We're not happy, but at least excited about the idea of having a new head coach is what I'm kind of really going for. So somebody in the chat says trade D-Hop for extra picks. Do you guys think DeAndre Hopkins is going to go? Serious question. Serious question. Do you guys think DeAndre Hopkins is going to go? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to go? Yes or no? That's it. That's it. All right, what's up, brother? He's Philly podcast says realistically he's good, but he didn't really show any adjustments. If he has a good team, he'll do decent, but he needs the players. The players don't need him. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the insight. I really do appreciate it. We have some people saying yes. We have some people saying no, yes, no. So it's 100%. Yeah. Some people over here saying yeah. I mean, it looks like there's a lot more people saying yeah that DeAndre Hopkins might be moved off of. Yeah, that's okay. Well, I mean, somebody says trade Hopkins for Lamb. If you didn't want CD Lamb in the draft, don't put CD Lamb's name in your mouth. That's all I'm gonna say. I wanted CD Lamb over Isaiah Simmons. I know that for a darn sure. Yes, I was excited about Isaiah Simmons, but going into the draft, right, leading up into the draft, I've always wanted CD Lamb over Isaiah Simmons because of the connection between Kyler Murray and CD Lamb. Of course, I got called crazy because we got DeAndre Hopkins and Kirk at the time, and now we know where we're at. Now we're talking about giving away or trading away one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, right? At least top 5. So somebody say in the chat, somebody in the chat says, hope Gannon steak dinner was better than Peyton. Oh, I agree. I hope that Sean Payton got nothing but Jack in the Box tacos. That's for darn sure. Get the man Jack in the Box tacos. Don't even take him to Philly Barretos. Don't even do that. Don't even do that. But I agree, y'all. I agree. Appreciate everybody for coming through. If this is your first time here, definitely don't forget to smack the like button and subscribe as well. On the road to 12K, ladies and gentlemen. Can't do it without you guys. So definitely, if you guys like this conversation, subscribe it up. We do this a lot. And we also post videos daily on the Arizona Cardinals, especially with this much changes going on with the Arizona Cardinals this offseason. It's a lot to talk about, right? OC, DC, free agencies coming, the draft is coming, and all that different stuff. So I'm excited. No F's given coming up with the super chat. What's up, brother? He says, I say he stays because of the majority of the team that will give good picks will be teams that are struggling just like us. He wants to win. That's fair. That's fair. I know that DeAndre Hopkins would probably want to go to a contending team. That's factual, right? Well, we don't know. I'm just assuming that he wants to win a Super Bowl, right? Yeah, I mean, you might be right. First round pick is something that I would love to see for DeAndre Hopkins. I understand that we are in a situation that he's over 30 and he's getting paid a lot of money. So it can really just depend on what happens there. But I would love to get a first round pick for D-Hop if he decides, or I guess if the Arizona Cardinals decides to move off of him. But that's the thing, like, there's not really a wide receiver in this draft that I'm really excited about. There's nobody in this draft. There might be a few, maybe in the second or the third round, or maybe even the fourth round, you could possibly snag, but it's not going to be a DeAndre Hopkins, right? It's not going to be a DeAndre Hopkins. So it's going to be a lot of we'll see type of situation, right? We'll see. I think we're better off keeping him. Honestly, I think we're better off keeping him because we're better with DeAndre Hopkins than we are without him. That's just the truth. It's just the truth. But yeah, so it seems like his contract is voided out because of the 6-game suspension, ladies and gentlemen. Sheesh. 6-game suspension now has his no trade clause voided out, so DeAndre Hopkins can get moved to whatever organization the Arizona Cardinals decides to move him to. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I agree. We need D-Hop for sure. We're better without him than without him. Not a great wide receiving draft, which increases his value. That's true, too. Somebody in chat says Quentin Johnson overrated. I'm sorry, y'all don't think of. Well, that's the thing. Quentin Johnson's going to go, at least top 15? At least top 15. I don't see him moving past that. So even if we were trying to double down and get probably the best wide receiver in the draft and one of the best defensive linemen in the draft, it's going to be hard to do so because I don't know if any of the top 15 draft picks he's going to want to go to, right? With the exception of possibly, what's the name? With the exception of, the Patriots might be a real possibility. It seems like he likes Bill Belichick, but I mean, we'll see. Let's see. AZ Fan says it doesn't make sense to trade due to the money loss. I do agree with that. It's going to come with, obviously, it's not just going to be like, here it is, right? And peace out. Let's see what Monty Ossenfort could do. You never know. Monty Ossenfort has a very strong connection with the Titans, right? Isn't that where we got him from, the Titans? He might have a really good connection with the new GM, right? Or with the organization over there. Maybe they want to replace A.J. Brown, right? They made a dumb mistake in moving off of A.J. Brown. A dumb mistake moving off of A.J. Brown. Maybe they want to move him on over there. We'll see, though. Someone in the chat says Kyler Murray's going to the Super Bowl. Sheesh, all right. Well, okay. Love the optimism. Love the optimism. Let's see here. But yeah, honestly, I think we have a lot to talk about, right? Cedric Tillman, that's true. That's true. But I think we could possibly get him, in the fourth, maybe third? Maybe fourth or third round pick? I think so. Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. But yeah, I mean, we're here right now, right? Here's Jonathan Gannon coming up here. We got some big, key takes, big key takeaways to talk about for Jonathan Gannon, which we already kind of, discussed and talked about pertaining to Jonathan Gannon and what he's done for the Arizona Cardinals organization. So I think overall, the Arizona Cardinals are in a good spot, at least to rebuild, right? I think we're in a really good spot to rebuild at this very moment. Jonathan Gannon said a lot of the right stuff. A lot of the right stuff. So I remember when David Johnson ended up going. David Johnson had a big contract. And when we ended up trading him away, yes, there is a cap hit, or not a cap hit. There's dead money hit. But like, we don't see that as Cardinal fans, right? That's more the owners. That's more them. But maybe the trade can also include their contract, right? You never know. You never know. So yeah, we'll see. Here we go. We got back-to-back super chats coming in here. Oh, I think we got two. I think this might have been a mistake. I'm so sorry, Sam. But if you got something else, I will look out for your name. We got two back-to-back super chats, and I think it might have been a glitch on your end because I think they both say the same thing. I apologize, man. He says, remember your garbage could be someone else's treasure. So be careful what you wish for about D-Hop. No, that's true. That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, we got back-to-back. Because they're both saying the same thing. I appreciate the contribution, my dude. So if you do have anything, I will look out for your name and have it posted up here if you do have something else to say. But I do agree. I think when it comes down to it, the Arizona Cardinals might find themselves hurting for a wide receiver because this free agency class is booty. It's bad. This free agency class it doesn't look so good. The draft doesn't look so great either, right? I think Quentin Johnston might be the best wide receiver in this wide receiving class, and he's probably not top 5, right? Not top 10. Somebody might snag him on 11. Somebody might snag him in 12, 13, something like that, just because of how many great defensive talent is in the front of the line, right? So, all right, another contribution coming in from Ella Dre. What's up, brother? He says, if he gets the right staff and personnel, he can do good. Remember, Mike Tomlin is a very high-energy coach and has been successful. This is very factual. Very, 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 very factual. Very true. I agree. I think the Arizona Cardinals right now, sky's the limit, truly. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't get why the people there's some people out there that are like, "Oh, right, like it's over, L signing." I'm not going to get to that level cuz we don't know what Jonathan Gannon can do. We don't know what Jonathan Gannon can do yet. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do for the Arizona Cardinals. Appreciate the contribution, L. Dre. Thank you so very much. Somebody in the chat says we should bring Gardner Minshew. I mean, there's definitely a possibility there, right? There's definitely a possibility there. We're going to find out who our quarterback's going to be. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we've seen Joe Burrow do it, right? We've seen Joe Burrow have a accident or an injury like Kyler Murray. He came back, right? So, yes, I know the reports are saying in October. We might see him late September, right? We might see him then. We don't know. Kyler Murray looks like he's rehabbing pretty well, and it's really just depending on how fast his body can get back to that level. And I understand they are looking to get into a level where he's 100%, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Somebody in the chat says Zimmer is a better defensive coordinator than VJ. I think we can possibly all agree on that. I don't think there's anybody denying that. Let's keep it on the chat here. Let's keep seeing what you guys have to say. We have about 5 more minutes before we close shop on this chat here today. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Because somebody in the chat says Dan and Kobe or Gannon, even better as a game manager than defensive coordinator. He wouldn't have to worry about the part as a whole. A little confused there. Okay, here we go. I got you. I got you, Sam. I know you gave 2 back-to-back super chats, and I think it might have been a mistake, but I got you. It says, Mike, we wish for a new coach, and we get it. Oh, and we got one. Let's give him a chance before. Oh, I agree. Oh, 100% agree. 100% agree. I don't think we should hang him. 100% agree. And that's the thing. Like, right, there's people in the chat. Well, not this chat, but there's people out there that don't like the signing. There's nothing we can do, right? At this moment, there's nothing we can do. We have to allow him to cook. We have to allow him to get to a level where we know he can be or where we want him to be, right? Like, that's what we need. What's up, AZ fan? Kyler Murray wants to play. Can see it in his eyes. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Vanessa says autocorrect destroyed my comment. No, it's all good. It happens. It happens. I do believe he wants to play too. I don't think Kyler Murray wants to sit out, right? And I think he's excited about the new coach. I do believe that. He was sitting front row and center, listening to what Jonathan Gannon has to say. Front row and center, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm excited. I truly am very excited to see how this is going to shake out here for the Arizona Cardinals, because I think sky's the limit for us all. Somebody in the chat says, joined a little late. I haven't heard anyone talk about this yet. Gannon mentioned servant relationship, being in the military. That is something that's real. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Right? Yeah. I mean, being the idea of like, because if you think about it, like, yes, being a coach is important that you know the X's and O's, right? It's very important. You have to have a football mind. You're not going to get this job unless you have a football mind. It's obvious, right? It's obvious. Very obvious. But I think it is very important to also have the idea of being a person that can be a leader of men, right? Especially when things go bad. And things can go bad real quick. Things can go real bad real quick in a football game, right? Adversity hits real quick and real fast and real sudden. To be a guy that's going to be able to change the mindset of the starting 11 people on the field, whether it's the defensive line or, the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball, it's important. Absolutely important. So, yeah, I think we just got to allow JG to cook as well as Monty Osen for it, because right now we're going to see a brand new regime coming our way. Brand new regime. It's doing things a lot different. Someone in the chat says Eric wants to be, I'm assuming Eric Bieniemy. Yes, he does want to be a coach, and I think that's why he is interviewing with different teams as of right now. You are 100% correct. All right. Let's do this. We have hit the hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for rocking with me, by the way. We talked about the big key takeaways on this live stream today. We had an introductory press conference here from Jonathan Gannon. If you weren't able to see or hear the Jonathan Gannon press conference, it is available on the Arizona Cardinals YouTube page. You're able to go ahead and take a look at it right there, check it out. Or if you're a member of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, actual channel member, you can actually watch it on a playback. But basically, it's just me reacting to it. I'm not really talking, honestly, so you're probably just better off watching it on the Arizona Cardinals YouTube page. But that's how you are able to watch the introductory press conference from Jonathan Gannon if you guys didn't already watch it. But we're discussing that today, right? That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, the big takeaways, what we heard, what we seen, what we liked about it, that type of stuff is what we ended up, talking about in this stream, which is honestly very good conversations. We had a lot of good conversations. We found out that DeAndre Hopkins trade clause is voided out because of the 6-game suspension. Sheesh. So we dived into a lot today on this live stream. Let's get to this contribution here from Illa Dre. He says, I do like the fact that he keeps talking about adapting and evolving with players' skill set. I 110% agree. I like the idea that he compared football to chess. I love the idea that he compared football to chess because it's true. It's a chess match. It is. It's how can you beat your opposing coach on the other side? That's what it is. Putting the best people available to succeed. That's exactly what this is, right? Keep evolving. He said that he doesn't have a scheme. That's crazy, but that's awesome because he's always evolving. That's amazing. He doesn't have a scheme, but every week is a different game plan. Music to my ears, ladies and gentlemen. Music to my ears, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody. I thank everybody here, all the super chatters, all the channel members, all the people that are subscribed to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Definitely subscribe it up. It's that red button right at the bottom of this video. Hit that subscribe button. Smack that like button. Hopefully, we are sitting at over 100 likes at this very moment. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure speaking to everybody. Good things ahead for the Arizona Cardinals is what I truly believe, and that's what I want to believe, right? Thank you, everybody, for coming in through. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cards.